Welcome back, Embers, or if you're new here, welcome to the Campfire Crew. My name's Stone, my pronouns are they, them, and today we're doing the 7th update of my Pan Those palettes. Oh my god, I'm gonna try and do this quickly because I am trying not to wear the shirt I've worn in like 20 different thumbnails, so I'm wearing this sweater and it is so hot. I'm sweating profusely. With that oversharing out of the way, if you've never seen this before, I am panning 2 palettes. My playlist for this from mid-year 2023 and this year, it's the same playlist, will be linked down below so you can watch this from the beginning. But I am working on 2 palettes. My least exciting palette is my Divina palette. And in my Divina palette, there's 4 shades I'm trying to hit 15 uses each on just to get some uses out of this being my oldest palette. And then my proper pan that palette where I'm trying to hit pan on my last remaining shades before the end of the year is my Carnival 3 Love Tahiti palette. So around here, we like to start with the least exciting update, which is my Divina, because we're not trying to hit pans, we're just trying to hit uses. And then we go into the exciting pan stuff. So if you see me looking down, it is at my sticker covered notebook. Let me flip to the right page. And just so you know, it's a couple days before the month ends, but I don't imagine I'm going to be panning anything new. So I figured I'd just film it while I was at home on my weekend. It's a Monday. I have Mondays off. So I figured I'd just do it now. Oh my God. Okay, let's go. So this is my Divina palette. It's a 12 pan palette, but only these 9 pans are from my original Divina singles. And the pans I'm trying to work on were originally these 4. And once I hit pan on this, I transferred the last 10 uses to this shade. So now it's this shade, this shade, this shade, and this shade. So let's talk about Blazed. Blazed is this shade, and I used it 3 times this month. I used it with Majesty. If you look really close, you can see there's a little bit, I don't know if you can see it in video, but I can see there's a little bit of red. I've mixed these together to make this kind of like nice orangey color. It's really pretty. I like it a lot. Next up is Patina, which I haven't used this month, and that's because I've been focusing on Blazed, as you can see, and also Majesty. So I've used Majesty a total of also 3 times this month. I think I paired these 2 together every time I did a look. And then my last shade, Nemesis, I used 2 times. So if you watched the last update, you'll know that I was really behind on this palette and I needed, I believe it was 7 uses to be at least a little bit, I'm stuttering a little bit, be a little bit caught up. And in total, I have used this month, this palette, 3, 4, 5, 6, 9 times. So I'm definitely working on catching up with this palette. I'm really excited about that. And yeah, after this month, this palette is definitely back in contention for being able to actually use each of those shades. Well, 10 for this one and then 15 for the other 3. Before I go, I will just say how many uses I have left on each of these shades. So since I rolled Blazed in, I've now used it a total of 4 times, which means I have 6 uses left on that because it's only a 10 use goal. Patina in total I've used 4 times, so I need 11 more uses in Patina. Majesty I've used a total of 10 times, so I actually only need to use Majesty 5 more times. Nemesis I have used in total 6 times, so I need 9 more uses on Nemesis. So I think we're doing pretty well with that. Next up, of course, is my Carnival 3 palette. So this is what it was looking like last month. And this is what it looks like this month. There we go. So let me tell you what I've done. I'm going to put the shades up and we're only going to talk about shades that I don't have pan on yet. So the first shade without pan that I used this month is Cocoa. Cocoa is this dark brown, and I've used it 3 times. I'm using it today, actually. I'm wearing a very neutral brown look because my Project Level Up palette is very neutral and brown toned. So I've been pairing that a couple of times to deepen up the look because it's a very light palette. So I used that 3 times. Even though it wasn't my focus, it is nice to have a little bit of use on it before, you know, we get to that, because it is one of the shades I'm most worried about actually being able to pan this year, because it's neutral and I don't usually wear neutrals. Though I have to say, I do feel pretty in this. I do look pretty cute, I think. The next shade that I used without pan is Tan Lines, which I used a ton. So again, because I've been using kind of more neutrals, I've been mixing in tan lines with a lot of my looks. And I used this 7 times this month. The dip is starting to get pretty deep. I'll show it to you now. Hopefully, as I'm moving it around, you can kind of see how big the dip is. I think this is a pretty good dip, and if I focused on it, I could get a pan on this pretty easily. It's definitely the biggest dip in this palette right now, even including the shades I was focusing on, which we'll get to later. Oh, and for the record, Cocoa now has a total of 18 uses, and 18 uses throughout my entire lifetime with it. And this year it has a total of 10 uses. Tan Lines in its total lifetime with me has a total of 25 uses. And this year alone, I've used it 19 times. So Tan Lines has gotten a lot of love from me this year. And usually by 25 uses, I have a pan, but I actually use Tan Lines usually with a big brush to kind of blend out my crease. So it is going to take longer to do. More in the winter and fall, I'll probably start using it as a blush again. It's just too dark for right now. I like the blushes that I have are very summery. I'm wearing the Rare Beauty blush, one of the illuminating powder blushes. Oh, it's so pretty for the summer. I swear I'm trying to be fast because I'm melting. But I just love talking about makeup and talking to you guys. So it's hard to make me actually go fast. Okay, so the next shade I used is Ginger. Ginger I used 3 times this month. Ginger is the light brown right under Tan Lines. I can't remember using Ginger at all this month, so it must have been at the beginning of the month. And I must have forgotten it by now, because I genuinely do not remember using it at all, but it must have been with the neutrals if I had to assume. And this, over the course of my lifetime with Ginger, I've only used it now 11 times, and that does not surprise me because, again, very neutral. And over the course of this year, I've only used it 4 times. So yeah, once I have to hit pan on this, it's going to be a challenge. So I actually have the tiniest little dip in Ginger now. Yeah, that one's still going to be a problem shade though. It really is. Okay, what else did I use that I didn't have pan on? Okay, so let's get into my focus shades. So I had 3 focus shades for this month and next month. As I discussed last time, I was going to go in rows. So the first of these is Bloom. And Bloom this month I used 6 times just this month, which is awesome for me. It doesn't really have a dip. I'll be honest, I'm a little worried about it. But you know, I'll do my best. In total with this palette, over its entire lifespan, I've used it 16 times now, and this year alone, I've used it 9 times. Sorry, I had to see if a color was purple or if it was black. It was a little hard to see. And yeah, I'm going to continue focusing on this next month. We'll talk about it when I get there. The next shade I had to focus on was 2 under that, and that's Blue Moon, which is this really pretty kind of bluey purple shimmer. It goes a little bit pink, which is why I was using it with those pinks, like the reflex are all kind of pink, which is, again, really beautiful. And I used that 6 times this month for a little pan. So I know I show you pictures, but I do want to show you this pan. Blue Moon is this one. I'm just looking at myself real close because the mirror's right in my face. And you can see it's right up there. You can actually see that the pan itself has a bar. Usually I hit pan straight in the middle of my palette, so I've never seen it before, except on, if you look at Sunlight, which I didn't naturally hit a pan on, it's just a really flaky shade. You can see that's all around the edges. But yeah, I hit a pan quite a bit taller, like less in the middle than I usually do. This is, again, one of those shades in this palette. There are a couple of them that are really flaky. This is one of them, like Starlight. I'm really hoping that it doesn't break on me now that it has pan like Starlight did. Why did I think I could be quick? I'm not quick at all. I'm so excited to take this sweater off. I do look cute though. I know I do. Yeah, like I said, 6 uses this month on Blue Moon. Over the course of this year, I've used it 11 times, and in absolute total since I've owned this palette, I've used it 16 times. So I only had 5 uses before this year. The next shade that I used is right under Blue Moon. It's Fruity. So Fruity, I realized, does not match Bloom. I was like, they're in a row, I'll use them all, but Bloom and Fruity don't work together because Bloom's really pink and Fruity's really purple. The only way they work together is I did this really cute, I don't think I took a picture of it. I've been terrible at taking pictures of my makeup lately. I will try next month to get on that. I feel like I haven't been making cute looks, but I made the Bi Flag look. So it was Bloom, then Fruity, because Bloom's really pink, Fruity's really purple, and then Blue Moon's really blue. So I used the deep, I used the deep, and then put Blue Moon between Fruity, the purple, and the deep, the blue, as like a little purpley blue transition for like the Bi Flag, because they're all kind of deeper colors, like the Bi Flag is, I'm bisexual, if you don't know, as well as being non-binary, I am also bisexual. Just a little rainbow onto myself. And that was a really cute look. I really liked that. But unless I'm doing that look, Bloom and Fruity do not really go together. So when I was using Bloom, which is more pink, I would actually use tan lines. That's how I got tan lines a few times. And when I was using Fruity, I used Grape one of the times. I used Twilight one of the times. We'll get to it. Oh no, not Twilight. But I did use Grape, another purpley, deeper shimmer, one of the times. So I wasn't really using them together that much. So my tactic for this month is going to be a little bit different. We'll talk about that at the end. But Fruity, I used I used 4 times this month for a total this year of 6 uses and a total, since I've owned this palette, of 12 uses. It is starting to get a dip, but again, it's not much of one, so I am a little worried about that, but we'll work through it. The next shade that I used is I used Grape, this purple, this darkening purple shade, 1 time for a total of 6 uses. 1 time this year. This is the only time I've used it this year, apparently. I think once we get to like October, November, kind of the deeper, more autumn months is when I'm going to focus on that. But yeah, not very good this year. Also, I'm worried about most of the shades that are left because I started this working just on shades I loved the most. So yeah, worried about that one too. Worried about a lot of these shades. And then I used Black Beach a total of 6 times this month. I didn't use much of it. I basically just tapped it in every time in the same way I did today, where I was just darkening up outer corner shades. So there's not much of a dip. I do need to start using it as a liner or something to get some actual good progress, but I'm just happy that I'm using it a good amount every month. So that is probably going to be the last shade that I pan in December. Yeah. But for now, if I just get a bunch of uses on it in the outer corner, even if I'm not using a lot, that'll at least make it easier once I hit December. So yeah, this year I've used it 9 times. So I used it this month more than I've used it the entire rest of the year. And we need to keep going with that going forward. And in total, I've used it 22 times, and there's barely any dip in it. So my goals for this month, I need to hit 2 pans. So my focus is going to actually be Bloom. I'm going to continue to focus on, which is this shade. Let me pull this up and I can do some swatches. Wait, wrong one. Let me pull this up so I can do some swatches. Whew. Oh, this thing shed so much. Okay. It is from Zara. I didn't buy it from Zara. I got it secondhand because I try not to buy fast fashion. But secondhand, I'll buy from. So yeah, I'm gonna focus on Bloom again, which is this really bright, pretty pink color. And then I'm also gonna focus on tan lines because I feel like it's the closest to pan, which is this kind of deeper pinky shade. I like these two together, so I'm gonna use them together. Bloom is gonna take a while. Tan lines, I think, is gonna take much less time. So this is Bloom. This is tan lines. And those are the two I'm hoping to hit pan on. These swatches aren't that good, but whatever. To hit pan on this upcoming month. Yeah. Again, I'm going to continue using Black Beach. And because Twilight's more of a pinky red as opposed to grape, which is more, you can see grape is more purple. This one's a little more pinky. So I might use this kind of in my outer crease, and then, so that's great. So I might use these 3 together and start getting some more uses on Twilight, because I definitely am very behind with that. But yeah, that is my update. I hope you enjoyed. I will see you later. Bye.